Can't hear you.
My God, I mute. I get muted on StreamYard, and then my interface wants to mute me. But like I said, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. What is up, y'all? Today is Wednesday, the last day of May 31st of 2023. Where in the heck is this month went? Where in the heck is this month went, bro? Because now it's like we get to May 1st, and like that, we at the end of the month. But what's going on with you today, Mac? What's up, man? My most consistent co-host of the Darion Hopkins show. But no matter where he doing that, if at work or he a PA, he could be all over the world. He gonna be here from 12 to 2. I know that for a fact.
Oh,
but how you doing, man? How was your day yesterday? And how did everything go? How everything going, man?
So I mean, everything went well for me last night. So I did hit on an Orioles parlay. So I took the Orioles to win. I took the over on the runs. I think it was like 9 runs scored. I took the over, and what was it? It was for at least one player to get multiple hits, more than 2 hits.
Okay.
So
we didn't really
I
do
mean,
no
it was
we
like
didn't do no bets yesterday because the internet people came and that was it. So I mean, if you do have some bets, just let them know. I don't have any pictures of anything. But
yeah. No, I mean it's just like so I've been working and doing things a little later, so I'm staying up till 2 o'clock in the morning, and you know what I mean, getting up, getting the kids together at 6 a.m. and then trying to take a nap before I come back on here. Like I just read it like a half an hour ago. I woke up to get something to eat before the show, and I see that D-Hop is in the topics for today.
Oh yeah. I woke up a bit late too because yesterday after the show, I took my godchildren out. We saw we went to go see 2 movies yesterday. Little Mermaid and Fast X. And I was worn out. Fast X was a 3-hour movie. Little Mermaid was a 2-hour movie. And yeah, so I was in the movies majority of the day. But hey, it was $5 Tuesday, so I couldn't blame myself.
Oh yeah.
It was $5 Tuesday, so watching 2 movies in a day, I take it. I'll talk about. I said some things on my Facebook about it. Like they did try it. They did try it, but yeah. So thank y'all to everybody that has tuned in and been here. 31st episode of the Darion Hopkins Show was definitely here, y'all. And I appreciate everybody that's been watching on a consistent basis, coming through and coming through, even though that a lot of people come through for the NBA games at nighttime, but I still like to do this and get it out the way. Personally, I don't know my phone. I hate when people try to call you and they got a show from 12 to 2. You told them that irks me sometimes. That really does. But shout out to shout out to SeatGeek. If you want to, go to any concerts or live events, sporting events, make sure you go to SeatGeek.com and use the promo code DHopkins to get $20 off your first purchase. And make sure you go over to Bet Us. The links are in the description where you get 125% of your sports book upon your initial deposit. Make sure you go to the link and get that special offer in the description, y'all. So I'm going to make it spicy because we ended off talking wrestling, and I'm going to start it talking wrestling because we didn't get to finish our topic for real. But I said top 10 wrestlers of all time. I don't care if they're from WWE. I don't care if they're from WCW. I don't care if they're from the NWA. I don't care where they're from. Top 10 wrestlers of all time. Not eras, all time. I know it's going to be hard to do because eras mean something, but I want to make it spicy today. I want to make it spicy. Top 10 wrestlers of all time. I know you was making up this list, Mac, and I would love to hear this list.
Yeah, I mean, I got to think about it a little bit, but for the main stage, like for me, a lot of the new wrestlers, they haven't climbed my top 10. There's no wrestler wrestling today on a frequent basis that is in my top 10. Sorry.
Outside of, for me, I can say Seth Rollins. could definitely be. He has the potential
again, like
to
top
be a top
15.
10.
Top 15 for me. Top 15, absolutely. He's up there, but again, like he's got 10 more years in the business. Let's, you know what I mean? And let's see how he can evolve his game as he gets a little older, as he gets into those golden age years in wrestling. And that's what I say, like that's what clearly has separated most of the guys that I have, is that, you know what I mean, what they did was they finished up 20 years ago or 10 years ago. And there's some young guys that, like I said, they're in my top 20 for sure. They're climbing the ladder. But again, it's when you're talking about times guys held championships, intercontinental champions, tag team championships, the role they played into pushing the business.
Well, technically, you're saying a Grand Slam champion is what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not even just that. It's again, like, who's gonna take Ric Flair's place? Somebody's gonna have to be one shit talking champion, fucking stealing motherfucker to ever even come close to him.
The only
You know what I
person
mean?
that's close to him right now is John Cena, and they both 16-time.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, and John Cena, again, he's not my top 10. He's not my top 10.
See, this is where it's going to get sketchy at, because I mean, I'm not a big fan of John Cena, but I respect it.
I respect him for what he's done, but at the same time, again, how many real wrestling matches has John Cena really had?
He went up against the best of the best in his era, from the Undertakers to the Edge, to the Rey Mysterios, to the Batistas, through the Triple H's, the Shawn Michaels. He had match after match for almost damn near everybody in his era and in the past.
Oh yeah,
he had 2 great matches at WrestleMania against The Rock. Like, that guy been through so many matches, and he was the one that made the WWE championship spinning belt, or made it relevant. So it's not just him winning championships; the impact of his character goes into it as well. But I mean,
like I said, for me,
if he's number 10, for me, he's number 10 on my list.
Yeah, and see, that's what I'm saying. For me, he's somewhere between like 12 and 14. So he's not far off the list of the top 10. But again, for me, I'm gonna I have a little favoritism in my list, and that's why, you know what I mean. Like, Randy Macho Man Savage is one of them. That's one of my favorite guys. You know what I mean? Like what didn't he hold? What didn't he win? What didn't he do in the ring? And he did it for multiple companies. He was the face. And then and I have to say it, snap it to a Slim Jim. Oh yeah, you know what I mean. Like, it was iconic.
That. Yes, he was iconic, but he wasn't a favorite for me.
Yeah, I mean,
Macho was not a favorite for me. He's top 10 all time, but he's definitely not top 5. Absolutely not.
No, he's not my top 5. I mean, my top 5 is basic. I mean, to be honest, I mean, I got Andre the Giant, I got the Undertaker, I got Stone Cold. You know what I mean? Like, I for a short period of time, I really did. I loved Hulk Hogan growing up. I did. But
not
as
a top
I got
10
older,
wrestler.
it was more of the more I watched, I was like, this guy is pretty much plain Jane. He does the same shit in the ring pretty much time and time again. There's no new added techniques. There's no new added, you know what I mean, to the catalog. It's the same shit over and over.
He's just iconic for the impact he brought in the celebrity brought to the company and to the wrestling business. That's what I can say about Hulk Hogan. He definitely brought the limelight into the business. I can say that.
For sure. He was there when it became MTV, when it truly became entertainment.
Right.
That's honestly what it was. And then the cable boom and all the shit leading up to it, like, absolutely, it played a pivotal role in the business. But again, like I said, after we're talking about true wrestlers, like, again, one of my favorite, Bret Hart. Bret Hart, that fucking guy could do everything. He could do everything. It didn't matter who you put him in the ring with. He could make anybody look good. He could sell for anybody, and he worked his ass off.
Okay.
That's literally why he's one of my favorites. Then you got Jake the Snake. Jake the Snake, he had a mouthpiece on him that could rival anybody who's ever been in the business. And he didn't have to scream, and he didn't have to yell, and he had to make all like he literally just sit there and use the tone in his voice of just speaking.
But do you think Jake the Snake is a top 10 wrestler of all time?
Again, when you look at the whole catalog, when you look at the early 80s into the middle 80s, it wasn't until the late 80s into the 90s when you really started seeing Jake kind of hit that downhill, because he could wrestle. Like he could wrestle. He was trained by guys who literally he knew how to chain wrestle. He could do everything. He could do the power moves. He could do the power slams, and he could sell like a motherfucker. The biggest thing for me when you're talking about a wrestler is, can they make a nobody look good? Because that's what it is. That's what it is. When you're in a wrestling match and you're going with somebody, they have to make you look good just as much as you know what I mean. You have to make them. It's vice versa. Without teamwork, the moves are gonna look sloppy, horrible, and somebody gets hurt.
I would love to hear this 10 though. I really want you to get into this 10 because I mean, because you saying names, but where you ranking them? That's what I want to see. Where you ranking them?
So okay, Undertaker is number one. Okay, nobody's taking Undertaker off of number one, especially not off of my list. Okay, now again, this is my list. Stone Cold is number two.
Okay.
Okay, then for my number three, that's Andre the Giant. Like I said, as far as catalog, as far as impact, he's like a Hulk Hogan, except for if you look at his matches from the 70s and the early 80s, Andre the Giant was a scary man to be in the fucking ring with. Like, if he would have continued to actually do exercise and stay healthy and have surgery on his pituitary gland, he might not still be alive, but he would have had another 5 to 10 years left on his career, or at least being behind a microphone or doing something involved with the business. And that's what parts that makes me sad. But again, he was the Giant. Everybody knew him. This was before cable. This is before everything else. Like, he was the one that really pushed wrestling over the top. As far as people were excited. This guy was a phenom. Nobody, like, there wasn't people just every day walking around that was 7 foot tall, 400 or 500 pounds, and just massive. And this guy didn't just be a massive tree where he just stood somewhere. He just did not, like, this guy could move. Like, and that for me is why Andre the Giant has to be up there. And then again, it's muddled for me with favoritism. And for my number four is going to be Mankind. Again, what he did, when he pushed the business, he literally not once, not twice, but 3 different times, literally put his life on the line for the crowd, as Mankind, as Mick Foley, as Dude Love. And it was all the characters, all the personas. And then when he came back as a GM, I mean, multiple times, I love Mick Foley. I do. That's why he's a part of my list. Again, he absolutely not the most gracious wrestler, doesn't have the biggest catalog. But for me, when I'm talking about impact on what I grew up with, I loved ECW. I watched Mick Foley in ECW before he even got to WWE. And I'm talking about, like, dude, I'm 5, 6 years old watching this stuff in my cousin's basement. like they
I think that was all of us at one point.
Yeah, and they would tape it on VHS, and then we would just rewatch the VHS and try to, redo the stunts over with, using me or one of my brothers. and it was, now so looking back, it was super dangerous. But again, the impact that he had from backyard wrestling to the WWE, like,
okay.
Mick Foley was, he was one of a kind. Now, my number 5 again this is pretty much going with the grain. Okay. And usually I don't put The Rock in my top 5. I usually put him like 6, but I'm gonna say The Rock. I'm gonna say The Rock. Absolutely, it has to be The Rock.
Okay.
For what he did in my era, this guy went from coming out as Rocky Maivia and boo, Rocky sucks, and he continued to sell. He continued to push, and now what? I mean, we're talking 30 years later, and we absolutely fucking love this guy. He is literally named the People's Champ. I
Absolutely.
mean,
Agreed. 100% agreed. 100% agreed.
now, all of these guys put together might not be the greatest wrestlers ever, but those are my top 5. Now, after that, then of course you got Ric Flair. Okay,
So
know
you
what I
got
mean?
Ric Flair out of the top 5, but you had Mankind at 4. I'm confused.
Again, this is my personal. That's my personal.
Oh, okay, okay.
That's why I said when we're talking about just the greatest of all time, that's a different list. When we're talking about my list, that's you know what I mean. That's
no. What is your actual list of greatest of all time? Is what the topic is.
Then we definitely. I mean, then it's got to go. You got to think the Undertaker. You got to think Ric Flair. Then you got to go. Probably John Cena is where most people would put him because of the championships and that, like you said. I guess then we're going like.
So because even if it was your personal, I still feel like you left one guy off that top 5 list, and that's Shawn Michaels. I think that's HBK. For me, I feel like you can swap out Mankind and put Mankind at 6 and
Okay,
put Shawn Michaels at 4.
So I'm just gonna say this now, like HBK, DX HBK, love him. HBK by himself, fuck him. The Montreal Screwjob. I was a Bret Hart fan. I was a Bret Hart
here
fan.
we go. Here we go. Now the hat is coming out the bag. The hat is coming out the bag now.
Absolutely.
You was a Bret Hart fan, which I was too. But let's be realistic here. Shawn Michaels beat him fair and square at WrestleMania in the Iron Man match, beating fair and square because it had to be a winner no matter if the hour went over or not. It still had to be a winner. So Bret Hart felt like he got robbed. I disagree with that. It still had to be a winner no matter if the hour went over the hour countdown.
I understand that. But like I said, there's
Shawn Michaels. I mean, Bret Hart hated Shawn Michaels when he was with DX.
Shawn Michaels with DX is absolutely amazing. Here's the other thing, and okay, so we're gonna sit here and we're gonna say Undertaker, we're gonna say Ric Flair, we're gonna say John Cena, right? Oh,
and another thing before you get into that number 4. Shawn Michaels is the reason why Mankind had the Hell in a Cell match because he was the first one initiated the Hell in a Cell match with Undertaker. Just want to put that out there.
No, I mean, listen to me.
That's what Kane came in as well. Kane came that night.
He was a lot of first. He was in what wasn't he in like the first ladder match that they did?
He was in the first ladder match. He's one of the first. He was one of the first Grand Slams to win all the titles. So he has a lot of accolades in and out of DX. I can say.
No, I mean, and then here's the okay. So after you got John Cena to do shit at number 4, and I'm sitting here and I'm looking at the roster of guys that I can pick through, and Triple H. I hated Triple H for the majority of his career, but when you look back at it,
I love the black jacket jean Triple H. That was my guy.
Yeah, no, and it was like over time, like I'd say when I got into my 20s is when I started to like, okay, you know what? I actually like Triple H. I really do. Like this is starting to get me because it was like his championships are stacking up. The fact that he went into every match, whether it was on Raw or whether it was a pay-per-view and came with the same intensity day after day.
Right.
He had the chops to go with anybody. He had the physique. And it's just all of it put together. I'm sorry. He's literally hands down one of the greatest wrestlers and minds in the business.
Hands down, definitely a mastermind of the business because, mind you, his career started off very rocky. Very rocky. Came in as Hunter Hearns Hemsley at first, came in at this British or English type of guy, and then he got with the Clique. He was the youngest out of that group with Kevin Nash, Razor Ramon, Shawn Michaels, and Triple H. All came out as the Clique. But with that Madison Square Garden curtain call came, Triple H took the back of that because Kevin Nash and Razor Ramon was going up to WCW. Shawn Michaels was at the top of his game, about to be at the top of his game because he was a good Intercontinental Champion at that time. So Triple H had to take the fall for that curtain call. And then the way he built himself up into the guy that he is today, I think that makes him that just his road to success himself makes him the reason why he's one of the greatest to ever do it. I definitely have Triple H in my top 5. I really do. So
I'm going to give you another controversy name that is definitely in my top 10, my personal top 10. And I get a lot of flack for it, and a lot of people did, like, I get it. I don't like what he did. No, it was wrong. But Chris Benoit was literally one of the greatest pure wrestlers that I ever got to watch.
Absolutely.
He was one of my favorite. The fact that this guy was like 5'6", 200 pounds, and could go toe to toe with the biggest names in wrestling, and it looked damn good and damn convincing.
Some of my favorite matches for Chris Benoit when he battled out with Eddie Guerrero, they were some of my greatest matches with them two went head to toe. Like the Eddie Guerrero Chris Benoit rivalry went back so far back into WCW, and it came over to WWE, and you just saw some of the greatest, not even like high flying, but greatest up tempo matches, technical matches that you will see in a rivalry between Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit. So yeah, Chris Benoit, absolutely. Outside of everything that he did was absolutely wrong. I understand why WWE don't want to put him in a Hall of Fame and stuff like that. I get it. I understand it. But if you pull back the tapes of Chris Benoit, you can't deny his greatness. You can't deny his style of play. He's not my top 10 greatest, but is he one of the greatest to ever do it in his era? Absolutely. Absolutely. No, by bar none. So for me, Chris Benoit is definitely up there. And I have to agree with you. He's probably in my personal top 10, but is he my greatest of all time? No.
Yeah, no, I had to throw his name out there because, like, again, now between him and Eddie Guerrero is like, those matches are golden. But if we're talking about who's better, it's tough. But I'm only going to give it to Eddie just for the simple fact is Eddie had more. Eddie just had more. He had more of everything. He had more personality. He had more attitude. He had a little bit more in the ring. Chris Benoit came to the ring with a lunch pail. Eddie Guerrero came to steal your lunch.
Yes, basically. I lie at you, I steal, basically.
and that's and bro, that's what puts him a little higher. And it is to sit here and think about, man. It was like, our glory days of wrestling.
Absolutely. But I'm gonna break down I'm not gonna break it down too much, but my top 10 greatest of all time. I'm gonna start with 10. And greatest of all time, I have to put Cena at 10 right now because of so many people that I have before him that's done so much. And I know Cena was in an era where he was part of the ruthless aggression era. I get it. He had great battles. John Cena is definitely up there as the top 10 greatest of all time. 16-time world champion, multiple moments at WrestleMania, the U.S. Open Challenge that now everybody wants to do an open challenge now, which he started that open challenge, towards the end of his career. So when he was part of the Word Life, doing the rapping in the beginning of his career and stuff like that with the actual chain and stuff like that with the spinning trophy. I get it. He was part of the ruthless aggression era. His first match was ever against Kurt Angle. And that goes into my next top 10 of all time. Kurt Angle. We cannot deny this man's greatness at all. This man just was a natural born athlete from being in the Olympics, from breaking his neck and still winning the championship. He went through. He was a hell of a character. He was a funny character, but he was a character that impact with his submission game, the angle slam. He went through everybody too. So Kurt Angle is number 9 on my greatest of all time. Number 8. This might get a little people here, but y'all might not like this one. DDP. Diamond Dallas Page. One thing I can say about him, even though that he wasn't in the WWE, but the impact that he put into WCW. When I tell you that when everybody was trying to join the NWO in that era, and he did not want to be a part of that. He went up against one of the greatest fractions of all time by himself. Yes, I have to put him there. I understand that he doesn't have multiple championships, but he has enough that he's definitely a Hall of Famer when it comes to the WCW era. The WWE
era, put him over Kurt? You put him over Kurt? I
put him over Kurt because of the era that Diamond Dallas Page was in. That's why. Kurt was in an era where, Kurt Angle, when he was at the end of the Attitude Era. When the Attitude Era was wearing down, it was watered down. Kurt Angle was part of that Ruthless Aggression era. Yeah, I like it, but when you go up against everybody say NWO is the greatest fraction of all time. That's just me and my personal opinion. When it comes to the 90s, nobody could touch NWO. And Diamond Dallas Page went up against those guys, went up against those Goldbergs, went up against all those type of, when WCW was winning in the ratings. Diamond Dallas Page was a huge impact of the reason why Raw was getting their ass kicked for 89 weeks. They was getting their ass kicked for 89 weeks. So I put Diamond Dallas Page over Kurt Angle. Not just, if I wanted to flip it, I'll say for athlete-wise, if we were going to the best athletes, I'll put Diamond Dallas Page at 9 and Kurt Angle at 8.
No,
I'm just talking about over just impact so look, of what he done.
Imagine if Diamond Dallas Page started wrestling at 27 and not 37.
Exactly. Which I absolutely agree. I know he was on the indie circuit for a long time, but I love the style of Diamond Dallas Page. It wouldn't be an RKO if it wasn't for a diamond cutter. Let's just keep it real there. I don't think RKO would be iconic if it wasn't for the diamond cutter, because that's exactly what the diamond cutter is the RKO, just in different forms and aspects of how Randy Orton does it. Number 7. Number 7. Y'all not ready for this one, man. Y'all are not ready for this one here. I had to go back a little bit past my 90s, Y'all can't say nothing about this man. And that's Mr. Ultimate Warrior himself.
Oh, man.
I'm sorry.
The 5-minute match. The 5-minute match. The 5-minute overrated.
I wouldn't say. I would not say. I cannot say overrated. I cannot say overrated. When it comes to his character was so unorthodox. It made you not want to. It's like, I'm not turning the television.
Listen. If Vince McMahon didn't want to have sex with him, he would have never won the championship.
Oh, get the heck out of here, man! For real. I'm sorry. I like Ultimate Warrior. I think Ultimate Warrior is a top 10 all time. I just think he is greatest of all time. I have to put Warrior there. Warrior, it was just one of those type of unique wrestlers that just got me.
No.
That the whole Hulk
he wasn't
Hogan
a wrestler.
Thing,
he was a character. That's a character. He was a character.
Okay, so if we were
he did no wrestling.
Okay, so if you want to go off, okay, so I can swipe out there. I'm going Ricky Steamboat at 7. If you want to go strictly wrestling,
Well, I mean, but that's my problem with him. Like, it's hard. Like, he was a character, he was a performer. But if you look at all of his matches, if he had a match that lasted over 10 minutes, 3 to 5 of those minutes were him standing still.
All right, so fuck it. I'm going to swipe it out. That'll be on my personal list. I'm going to swipe it out. Ricky Steamboat, the rivalry that he had with Ric Flair.
Oh, my God.
Ricky Steamboat is definitely over Diamond Dallas Page and Kurt Angle. Absolutely. I'll definitely put Ricky Steamboat there. So, okay, we're going to swipe it out there. Warrior's going to be for my personal top 10. But top 10 wrestlers of all time, Ricky Steamboat is at number 7. When you look at the rivalry between him and Ric Flair in those days, you cannot tell me that's not one of the greatest rivalries in wrestling history in itself. Those rivalries went back. And then number 6 is right there. Another rivalry with Ric Flair. Dusty Rhodes. Are we not understanding the way Dusty Rhodes wrestled in the NWA days? Dusty Rhodes is definitely in my top 10. Definitely is. I'm sorry to say. When it comes to rivalries and when it comes to wrestling actually in the ring, Dusty was one of those big guys that put on for the big guys back in those days. Because if you look at the area of wrestling, they was all had good physiques. They was bodybuilders. They was that type. Dusty Rhodes was never that type. And he came in and went up against some of the best in that NWA era. And when WCW was coming off the ground, and those rivalries with Ric Flair makes him number 6 on my list. If you want to go strictly wrestling. Number 5.
Absolutely. There's no argument here. Well, Dusty Rhodes was absolutely behind the curtain, in the ring, on the way he talked on the mic. Like there was nothing. He did it for decades.
Absolutely, because I want to get through my, because I know we got some other topics that we have to talk about as well. But number 5, this is tough, man. This is tough. This is tough. Greatest of all time. We talking number 5, and I think I'm going to put him where you put him at. The Rock is number 5. As greatest wrestler of all time, The Rock is number 5, not just because how he talked on the mic, but the history of his family being in the business and learning the business and learning wrestling. And like you said, the story about him being, Rocky Maivia, and everybody hated him. They're going to the Nation of Domination. But anytime he talked, he backed it up in the ring. That's one thing you loved about The Rock. He's always going to give you a match. And the best rivalry he ever had was Triple H. That was one of his best rivalries of all time. And I wanted to see this so much with The Rock, but it never happened. There's one match that never happened at a WrestleMania, and that was The Rock versus Shawn Michaels. We never saw that. If you look through all the WrestleManias, we never saw Shawn Michaels and The Rock at a WrestleMania. And I don't understand how we didn't do it, how The Rock called himself the People Champ, and Shawn Michaels said that he's Mr. WrestleMania. How you not have this match? How you not have a storyline for this? It doesn't make any sense. But another story for another time for that. Number 4. Oh, shit. It's getting tough. It's getting tough now because we talking about technical. We talking about wrestling here. Number 4. This is tough, man. Do I really gotta do it? Yeah, I'm gonna put him. I'm gonna put him. You might not. We might agree to disagree on this one. But Mick Foley got to be in my top 4. I mean, my top 5. When it comes to wrestling, I don't care how much he puts his body on the line. He knows the technical part of wrestling. Everybody thinks of Mick Foley of just this extreme rules type of wrestler. But he actually knows how to wrestle outside of using the extreme stuff, out of using a chair, without using a table. He actually knows how to wrestle. People might be mad about it, but that's just me. That's me. I think Mankind's there in number 3. Bret Hart. Bret Hart's the top 3 wrestler of all time. If you want to talk about technical wrestling, and you want to talk about somebody that will wear you down, Bret Hart is one of those guys that would do it. Bret Hart is one of those guys that would do it.
So the only argument I'll make against Mick Foley because if we're going to talk about a pure wrestler who I would put Mick Foley / somebody else, I'm giving it to the Iron Sheik. When you're talking about a fucking
I wasn't a
guy,
fan of the Iron Sheik.
I mean, I wasn't really growing up either. But again, it's as I got older and I watched more of his catalog and more of it. But I mean, he wrestled guys from Andre the Giant to Hulk Hogan, all the way into the '90s to wrestling Lex Luger, to you know what I mean? Like, and it was like he had a lot of controversial matches. Him and oh my God, why can't I remember his name? Bob, was it Bob Buckland? They had a lot of iconic matches against each
Okay,
other, and I mean,
we could do this too. We could do this too. Then I could swipe out Mankind and put Triple H at 4.
Yeah. I mean, that's absolutely doable too.
I will swipe out
I'm just trying to give some
Mankind
honorable
before.
mentions. Just giving some honorable mentions.
Mankind would be Mankind would be an honorable mention. I would have to say, because I'm thinking about it now and looking at my top 5: Rock, Triple H, and then I just said Bret Hart.
Yeah,
Bret Hart. Number 2 is The Undertaker. Number 2 is The Undertaker when it comes to pure wrestling for his size. For his size, and so the way he was able to move in the ring and the way he put on matches against damn near everybody on his list. He, besides Steamboat and Diamond Dallas. I think he didn't battle Diamond Dallas Page, but outside of them, he battled he beat everybody, all of them at WrestleMania at least.
Yeah.
At least. So Undertaker's number 2. I love Stone Cold, but Shawn Michaels was a better wrestler than him. I'm sorry to say.
Damn, so you just leave Stone Cold off the list completely?
If I had to switch out somebody, that's gonna be hard, man. If I had to, I'll have to switch out Dusty and put Stone Cold at 6. I have to put Stone Cold at 6. If you look at my top 5, if you want to look at actual wrestlers in the top 5, Michaels, Taker, Bret, Triple H, Rock. If you look at pure wrestling, not characters, pure wrestling, it's hard to swap out one of them to put Stone Cold in the top 5. Now, if we're looking at overall package, Stone Cold's in my top 5. I would definitely take out. That's the thing. I would definitely take out total package. It'll be hard for me to take out Taker. And put Stone Cold in there, or take out The Rock, because The Rock had a total package too. So did Stone Cold. So it really gets difficult. See, now you got me thinking, bruh. All right, fuck it. I'm gonna have to put Stone Cold at 6 and take Dusty Rhodes off, just because. No, I'm not. Fuck no. I'm gonna just do this. Rock at 6, Stone Cold at 5. Unfortunately, I have to do that.
Yeah. So here's the other good, funny kind of thing. Oh, where'd you go? Uh-oh. I think I'm the only one in here.
So, my camera went out. I'm sorry.
Okay,
my camera went out.
Okay. I was like, hold up.
No, my camera went out.
So again, another honorable mention when we're talking about guys who are just wrestlers and who can wrestle with any fucking body. Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio was fucking. I mean, literally, he's still wrestling. Okay, he's the 90s, the 2000s, the 2010s. He's in the 2020s. This is his 4th decade wrestling.
Well, he's actually just got put into the WWE Hall of Fame. I don't think he's wrestling anymore after that. But you just never know.
He might not. I mean,
you never know, because look at Edge. Edge came back. I mean, I'm just saying he's in the Hall of Fame. I mean, you never know.
Yeah, no, for sure. And that's where it's like, oh man. But again, we can make good cases for a lot of wrestlers.
Yeah,
like Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy was probably one of the most technical wrestlers out there. So the first,
I like him as a tag team, not as a singles wrestler.
So the first, what was it? The first 6 video games that they made on PlayStation, the Hardy Boys were the ones who did the move creators. like
Right.
where you could make different packages. The red and the green guy, I mean the blue and the green guy. That was Matt and Jeff Hardy. They were the ones who did everybody's finisher. They did everybody's moves, and that's the one thing I can say is when you're talking about Jeff Hardy being able to do anything, everything from the high risk to the wrestling to the profile to his character and you put it all together and it is like that's the one thing I can say that I'm happy for. He's one of my favorite wrestlers and he's gotten a couple pushes in this industry and unfortunately I think the second time he got the push, what was that in what was it, like 2018 or 2019 or something? It was,
Right.
I think, before the pandemic he got a push and then he got injured.
It's so many honorable mentions I could put out there. You could put out Harley Race as one of the greatest to ever do it. Even though that I never watched them because I mean it was so back in the day. But looking at the tapes and going back to the history of the World Heavyweight Championship, Harley Race was one of the longest reigning World Heavyweight Champions in his era. He could
Yeah.
beat anybody and everybody at any arena at any time. Harley Race is definitely one of those guys, like you said, Iron Sheik. But yeah,
Yeah,
I have
you're
to
talking
put
about back chain wrestling guys
yeah,
who literally locked up and tried to work on opponent. Like, okay, my opponent's arm is weak. I'm going to spend the majority of the match trying to hurt his arm, and then get him in a lock and make him tap out or beat him like hell until he goes. You know what I mean? He goes down for the pin, and it was like that. And another big name is Bruno Sammartino.
yes, another guy that
He,
could be, top greatest wrestlers of all time.
oh
But
yeah,
I think me and Mac is right now is going off of our era and a little bit of history in some sorts. If you look at our, the list that we, trying to put together here. See, all of my guys that I put up there is that I watched growing up, and I thought, even wrestling was wrestling at the time. And I understand Hefe can't saying, "Oh, Stone Cold, hell no, Stone Cold before The Rock, never." But if you look at Stone Cold and what he did for that company when that company was struggling to get viewership, even though The Rock came around that same time, but The Rock was a part of the Nation of Domination, and The Rock was, and Stone Cold was at the top, almost damn near at the top of his game,
yeah.
saving the company's ass. He
Yeah,
he clearly saved the company's ass for real, for real.
the Rock, like for me, the Rock turned into the Rock, the People's Champ. All that from like 98. 98 is really when it started to push. Once you got to 2000, that's when it completely flipped, and the
Yeah, I think
Rock was the Rock.
it was more like the end of 96 going into 97 when he left the Nation of Domination. When he officially left, because he was the leader there, he officially left and went on his own. And once he went on his own, he was a heel for a long time. People fail to forget that. The Rock was
Yeah,
a hell of a heel.
that's what I'm
People
saying.
hated him.
It was around 98 when he became the People's Champ.
Right. Around
That's what I'm
98.
saying.
Yep.
When from 98 to 2000 is when he did the complete turn and
Right.
he became the People's Champ. He became the Rock. That's like he really went into his own mannerisms. He started doing his own thing, and he became full fledged. And
Absolutely.
that's why I say, like, for me, if it weren't for injuries, Stone Cold Steve Austin would have had a better career.
Agreed. 100% agree. Those knee injuries and that
Right
broken
now,
neck.
they're literally sit side by side in as legends. Okay, and that's what it is. They're legends in their own remark. They're
Right.
legends with each other. They're legends without each other. But the whole point is they're standing on the same plateau. I don't think one is higher than the other because again, if The Rock doesn't go make movies and he stays and stays a wrestler, and we're given still that same top notch matches week in and week out, pay per view after pay per view, decade after decade. You know what I mean? Then absolutely he would 100% be well regarded over Steve Austin. But Steve Austin retired around the same time that The Rock
The
kind of
Rock was
started on the way
elevating.
and making movies and doing other things.
Right.
So it was like, that's why they're kind of on the same plateau. And I'm sorry, like when Stone Cold Steve Austin came back to kick the shit out of Kevin Owens, I recorded it. I recorded the whole damn match because I was like, if this is the last Stone Cold match, I at least want to have that shit where I can watch it anytime I want. And he
Oh
kicked
hell
the
yeah!
yeah,
Oh hell yeah!
and that's what I'm saying is. So imagine, okay, the pop that he got at what 50, almost 60 some damn years old versus that. Now imagine if he wouldn't have stopped wrestling and The Rock would have went and made movies, then we'd be sitting here saying that Stone Cold is far supersedes him.
Yeah,
But again, I
absolutely.
think just because of the way it happened, you're talking about the championship runs, you're talking about the impact, and then you talk about pure wrestling. Their wrestling is straight on
It's
par with each
right
other.
there. You
That's
can't deny it.
that's what I'm saying. The championship runs, they're right there. Everything is right there at each other. So it's just like, I mean, the only thing that I'd say Stone Cold probably has on him, Stone Cold probably sold more Stone Cold merch than The Rock sold Rock merch. But it ain't
Actually,
that.
yeah.
But it ain't that far
Austin
apart either.
316 was like one of the most highest selling T-shirts in the history of the business.
For sure, still is to this day.
And it's crazy because that he left. I think what Stone Cold left the business in what, in 2003, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken. So yeah, but I'm sorry, I'm biased. Shawn Michaels is my guy at number one. I'm sorry, Shawn Michaels is my guy as number one. Mister Charisma, that he goes toe to toe with anybody. He don't care if you're a giant. He don't care if you is one of the best technical wrestlers. One thing I can say about Shawn Michaels, you're going to get 120% in the ring for Shawn Michaels. I don't care if you get him right now. You look at some of the best matches that he had at WrestleMania, from the Iron Man match to the matches that he had with Triple H at WrestleMania, and the street fight, after being gone for 5 years, they come back and having a street fight with Triple H, and never, he didn't, mind you, he didn't train or wrestle for 5 years, came back and looked like he never left. That's stuff that gets me to, like, you could go the Rock. I mean, not the Rock. Shawn Michaels can go in the ring with anybody and make any and everybody look good. It doesn't matter who it is. If you're a lacking in a certain area, he'll make sure that he will cover it. He'll make sure that the match will be good. I never see a bad match from Shawn Michaels. Probably in his early days when he first came out, but when he had the first ladder match with Razor Ramon, classic. When he won the Elimination Chamber in his second time coming back to WWE after the 5-year layoff, iconic. There's a lot of iconic moments. Even though we all know the Montreal screw job, it kind of hindered him a little bit with that. But in the same token, I still feel like no matter who you put in front of Shawn Michaels, he's going to put on the show. He's going to give you an actual wrestling match, and he's going to make sure he delivers. No matter if it's on Raw, SmackDown, any pay-per-view, you see that from Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, no, I mean, I give that to him, absolutely. I mean, for me, he's not, just because of, again, like I said, I mean, he does most of his matches. He does very similar things over and over again. Granted that's his style, so I get that. But again, there's a few matches, not many, that you kind of leave a little lacking. And I'll say this, and I'll say exactly when. From 2004 to about 2008, there was a few matches where he missed cues. Main reason why I know this is because that's exactly when I was watching wrestling every single week. My grandmother's girlfriend, her favorite wrestler, one of her favorite wrestlers, was Shawn Michaels. Anytime he would mess up, anytime he would slip when he goes to slam, anytime he made any mistake, she pointed it out and she was upset. She's like, "Oh, he's better. He's better than that. He's better than that. He could have killed somebody." That's who really taught me what to look for when I watch wrestling. Other than that, even in his later years, he did things he was more comfortable with. But again, for me, when you're talking about pure wrestling, like I said, I mean, he can chain wrestle decently. Like, I mean, compared to everybody else, and we're talking about the old guys who were the best at doing it. When you're talking about like the Iron Sheik, I mean, even Mr. Perfect. Mr. Perfect was really good at chain wrestling, even though I hated his character.
I couldn't stand his character.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's just like there's certain boxes that guys check off. And yes, Shawn Michaels checks every box. But like I said, for me personally, he's just one of those guys that are talked about, like, The Rock, like your Triple H, your Steve Austin. Like Shawn Michaels is in the category with all those guys, and he's somewhere bunched up in the top 10. Absolutely.
Absolutely,
But
absolutely. But I
But
mean,
again,
I
for
just
me,
feel like
I can't put any of those guys above Undertaker, because Undertaker was before them and Undertaker was after them.
well, Shawn Michaels actually before the Undertaker. If you want to go back far, he started out in the early. Because Undertaker came in what 93, if I'm not mistaken. Shawn Michaels came in. Yeah, Undertaker debuted in the WWE in 1993.
Are you sure? I thought it was 91. I thought Undertaker came in 91.
I thought it was 90. I thought it was 93. Let me just double
Yeah,
check
yeah.
that. Because Shawn Michaels was already in as the Rockers in the 80s in the WWE.
Yes.
So Shawn Michaels been there a little bit longer than the Undertaker. So let me see. Undertaker. Let me just check that real quick.
Like, hold on, we're gonna learn
Actually,
something.
it was November 19th, 1990. We were both wrong.
November 1990.
November
Okay,
19th, 1990 is where he debuted. And
well,
Shawn Michaels' debut.
the only reason I knew he wrestled in 91 is because I watched the In Your House episode where Undertaker was fighting on it. That's why I was like, I know he had to start wrestling in at least 91. So
Yeah, and
yeah,
Shawn Michaels
1990,
debuted.
November 1990. Yeah,
Yep, November 1990.
damn, I wasn't even born yet.
I wasn't born. Listen, I wasn't born yet. Even I was born. I'm bugging. I wasn't born when Shawn Michaels debuted. It was October 20th, 1984.
84.
84. That was 2 years before I was born. So
Jesus.
yeah. So I'm definitely telling my age with that one. So yeah, he was with Marty Jannetty with the Rockers back
Yeah.
then. So Shawn Michaels really up there as far as if you look at my list of people. Shawn Michaels probably one of the oldest up there, probably the oldest up there. If you look at it, if you look at my list, but yeah, man. I mean, this is we don't have enough time to keep going because we can talk about this shit all day long. We really can. We really can because like I just have a passion for the business. Like I have a passion for talking about the greatest of all time because there's always a talk about who's your personal favorite and who's actually the greatest. And I don't know if you have Peacock or anything of as far as like the streaming service, but they do have a thing on WWE on there where they have the 50 greatest of all time. So if you ever want to take a look at that, and I don't say me personally don't go with that list. Don't go with it. The 50 greatest of all time, I wouldn't go with it. But yeah, man. So we definitely going to talk more about it. I just wanted to get out of the way. I can't believe we almost took an hour talking about wrestling in itself, but we got to get into some NBA as well. We got a few NBA things that I do want to talk about. And we all know that Bob Myers is no longer the GM for the Golden State Warriors. And now they're talking about Scott Perry is there. The Knicks won't be extending his contract, which is kind of interesting to me because it does state that he has an expiring contract. Who worked under the president Leon Rose as the executive vice president of William Wesley this season, and he became the general. Perry became the general manager back in 2017 and 2018. But I'm trying to figure out as why they won't re-sign him. He didn't say nothing about stepping down. We all know New York finished 47-35. They beat the Cleveland Cavaliers in the first round, lost to the Miami Heat in the semifinals. They went out and got RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly, Grit and Grimes, Mitchell Robinson. They went and got Jalen Brunson last off season. Why make the move now for the Knicks? Do you think they should go out and get a better GM, as of right now, or you think Scott Perry was doing the job here?
I mean, clearly they want to go in a different direction because maybe they're like, okay, well, we really like the Brunson thing, but Randall and everybody else, or and that could have been a thing. Like they could have been like, hey, man, we expect to get here. If you think if are you back in this roster? And he said, yeah, I'm back in the roster. And all right, if they don't make it to a certain point, you know what I mean? Like we're not going to extend you. We're not going to give you another chance. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. Or they literally found somebody else that they would rather put in charge, and they feel like they can give them a better chance to win.
Yeah, because I mean, if you look at it, I mean, he did go out and get Jalen Brunson. I get it. You spend mad money and understand that his father is on the coaching staff. We get it. We get it 100%. But it was a few questionable changes that he made to this roster in the past. And I wonder if now they doing that because Bob Myers is no longer he's stepping down as the GM for the Golden State Warriors, and they see that as an opportunity to go get Bob Myers and bring him to the New York Knicks. And that leads me into my next question for this: since Bob Myers is leaving, is it actually an end of a dynasty for the Golden State Warriors? Because for me, as a watching First Take, I like the statement that she said that it really up to Draymond Green if it's the end of the dynasty. If he opts out of his player option, he becomes a free agent. He could go anywhere where he wants to go. So that goes into my next question. Do you think is an end of an era coming with the Golden State Warriors knowing Bob Myers was one of the architects of these 4 championships that the Golden State Warriors have gotten?
I mean, no, it's not the end of the dynasty. It's not. I mean, if Draymond wants to go somewhere else, then yeah, I guess it's the end of the trio of dynasty. But again, what happens if they retool and next year they're back in the finals with or without Draymond?
And that's the thing. I feel like they need to retool their roster a little bit. I think even with Looney being there, I still think they still need a dominant big man offensively.
Yeah, absolutely.
They definitely
I agree with having Looney there.
Yeah, Looney is good. Don't get me wrong, but offensively, he's a liability. And even if you go back to his college days a little bit, he was more of a scorer in college, and he was more of a scorer in high school. And I watched some highlights of Looney, but in the NBA, he's not their offensive threat, and I think they're missing that. And we all know the Klay Thompson's going to shoot the 3. Curry's going to shoot the 3, but you still need a big man outside of Draymond Green that could give you something offensively. Because, like I said, yeah, you can play defense all you want, but if you can't score, that's going to be a problem on the offensive side, because it means you got to rely on shooters, and you don't have nobody inside to give you anything. So,
yep,
that gotta change if they want to figure out if they want to go back to the finals or go back to the championship. Another thing, what you're going to do with Jordan Poole, that's another thing. Are they going to trade Jordan Poole? Are they going to let him go? What they going to do? I understand they gave him that big contract, but I think it's time for him to go on his own. He thinks he's Steph Curry, and he's not Steph Curry. He needs to stop thinking like that. He needs to stop playing like that and play like Jordan Poole. That Jordan Poole got you the contract that he got that you got.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, but I guess that's what gives him the feeling that he can do that, is because they gave him that dumbass contract. And again, like I said, I thought it was about the dumbest shit that you could do. Like you're paying a guy to be something that he's not.
Right. And another question that we have to think about is what they're going to do with Andrew Wiggins. I think Andrew Wiggins is a free agent after this season as well, if I'm not mistaken. And Andrew Wiggins is, if you could get a full season out of Andrew Wiggins, if you could get a full season out of him,
that could be something awesome. But like you said, I mean, it gets to the point to where, can he get some real help? Is he going to be done with all the off the court drama? If so, then you know what I mean. You probably get a great season out of him. But the problem is, if any of that shit comes back up, if he winds up having any type of mental health crisis, then you might be sitting in the same thing that's happened. And I'm sorry, I feel like that definitely hurt him in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think kept missing a lot of time, in the regular season, and you could tell that even though that he was playing okay, but it wasn't the Andrew Wiggins of the championship run the previous year. It
Yeah.
wasn't that Andrew Wiggins that that surged on. Like, we all knew that Andrew Wiggins is the number one overall pick. Everybody thought that he was a bust. Everybody thought that because the teams that he was on, he wasn't getting the notoriety, but he was getting the notoriety. Once he got to go to state, of course, is a big market, championship market now. So I get it, but he got to play more regular season games to get gelled with this team. They look out of sync. They look like they didn't gel in the playoffs as much.
Yep.
And yeah, Andrew Wiggins got to play a full season for me. And if I'm going to resign him, how long am I resigning him for? That's another question. Because mentally, you could sign him to a 4-year contract and be like, oh, you're not here majority of the regular season. Why I sign you for a 4-year contract? No.
Yeah. No, I
No.
mean,
So if I am the GM of whoever the owners of the Golden State Warriors, I'm dissecting that after what happened this past season with him. I give him like a 1 or 2 year contract. The most is 2 years. The
yeah.
most is 2 years. So Golden State got some questions, to stay, keep their relevancy into the Western Conference because they are getting older. They do got to get a little bit younger. I feel like Kuminga could be one of those younger guys that could get a chance to get a role. And I didn't understand why he didn't get much playing time in these playoffs because you know what he's capable of, especially driving to the basket. Another story for another time. But Curry's gonna have to start using these younger guys because Dre, Clay, and Curry is getting up there in age. They probably still doing it at the top of their game, but age starts to factor. You got to go a little bit younger for Golden State.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like I said, it's pick your poison. Are you gonna stay with what you know, or are you gonna try to change it up a little bit? And I mean, you got to be a creature of change in any sport. If you're not at least trying to be 2 years ahead, you're gonna be wind up being 2 years late. And if you're late, you're done.
Yeah, and I really hope that when it comes to the Golden State Warriors, hopefully they can retool and figure out some ways to get back into the relevance. Well, not relevancy, but get back to the NBA Finals. Get back to the NBA Finals because we all know they're going to make the playoffs. We all know they probably can make a Western Conference Final. It's a possibility. There's always a possibility with them every single year. You can never bet them out. That's one thing you can't do. You can never bet them out. But going into the NBA Finals, which is tomorrow, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, we do have the Miami Heat going into Denver against the Denver Nuggets, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, and we'll be live for it right here on the Darion Hopkins Show. But I stole this from First Take 2, ESPN. If you want a lawsuit about it, I do not care, but I took this topic too, and I don't care. Who is the most important player in these NBA Finals? It could be multiple players. It could be one player. So who is important to Miami if Miami is trying to do an upset? Who is important to Denver if they want to get their first title?
Jokic. I'll say Jokic in Denver. This final series literally means more to Denver than it will to Miami. Like, don't get me wrong, it'll answer the Jimmy Butler question. It'll get Jimmy Butler a ring. How many MVPs has Jimmy Butler won?
I don't think he never won an MVP, an
I mean,
actual league MVP.
I'm saying it sarcastically, like, you know what I mean, like.
Oh,
Jokic checks everything off the list. This is the last thing that Jokic has to check off the list. This is it. This is the last thing. He checks this off. He's a guaranteed Hall of Famer. You got multiple MVPs. You've taken your team to the final to the Western Conference Finals every year. You stayed with the same team. Now you win a championship. He done it every level. He got it. He got it. He got the individual awards. He's got the team award. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, he could literally retire the next day and goes in the Hall of Fame. Will he? No, thank God, because I want to see another 5 to 8 years of him. But
Right.
like I
Right.
said,
Agreed.
to me, him in Denver, it means more too. Now again, on Miami's side, it is. It's Miami and Jimmy Butler. But this 100% means more for Jimmy Butler than it does for Miami.
Well, I'll have to say for Denver is a few factors that I could put into who could be an important player. And to me, it's Jamal Murray. Yes, we all know the obvious is Nikola Jokic. We all know that's the obvious. But for me, is the most important player is Jamal Murray. And I feel like when Jamal Murray gets going, this whole team gets going. Jokic could do this shit really by himself and just have everybody spot up at the three and everybody crashing on him and he just kicks it out for his tall self. Basically, if you want to be completely honest, we all know Jokic is what is probably the most important player out of both teams in this finals. Let's be completely honest there. But Jamal Murray is a guard that people think, it's Jamal Murray. We could guard him. And then he shows you that you can't guard him. Basically, that's when it comes to Jamal Murray, because at some point that when I watched Jamal Murray at Kentucky, going all the way back to Kentucky, and they didn't even have him like player of the year honors in Kentucky. And he was averaging, he was playing the way he's playing. He elevated his game in the NBA, but y'all gotta stop sleeping on Jamal Murray, man. Yes, Nikola Jokic is that guy for Denver. Agreed, 100%. But Jamal Murray is my most important player. I think he's the catalyst of making this all go. Especially if Jokic can't get out on the fast break fast enough. You could definitely rely on a Jamal Murray to facilitate on a 3-on-2, on a 3-on-1, even in a 1-on-1 aspect. Once he gets going, he's hard to defend. And hopefully he carries that from the Western Conference Finals into the finals. And on the opposite side, of course, Jimmy Butler's the obvious important player. But I'm calling you out, Bam Adebayo. You got to be important. You can't fall asleep in these finals. Absolutely not. You're going to have to play some of your best basketball for the next 4 games so y'all don't get swept. So, yeah, I am calling it. I'm calling the most important player that's actually been playing. I understand Tyler Hero is there too, but I'm not making him an importance right now.
Yeah, let's see if he gets in the starting lineup first.
Right, and this one, he could be back for game 3. I understand that, but it could be 2-0 going into game 3 with Denver as of right now. Predictably, which I'm a Heat fan, but I'm just saying, Miami's coming off of playing 7 straight games against one team. You're gonna need all the rest in the world. I don't care if you take a whole day break. I don't care. You got to do something. But Bam Adebayo he gotta start being important to this team again. Because Caleb Martin is outshining you, Bam. He's definitely outshining you.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that's what I said. Like, bro, the fact that they was able to get past Boston without Bam being consistent, I still think is fucking nuts. But they did it. But I'm saying this now, right? Bam don't come to play, Nuggets are gonna sweep. Like, get your brooms ready.
I don't want to think that for my Heat. I don't want to think that.
I mean, no. So then the Heat, what they need to do is they need to come to play. You come to put the ball in Caleb Martin's hands, put the ball in Vincent's hands. But you know what I mean? Try to have Bam play down low. Try to force Jokic to have to play down low.
Right. Absolutely.
Don't let him get to play up by the 3-point line all the time. Don't like. I mean, I'm just there's multiple ways for Miami to win it.
Or use your speed against Nikola Jokic. Like, you get him on a pump fake. You can really kind of blow by Nikola Jokic because he's not that fast laterally. So you got to use your quickness if you're a Bam Adebayo in that aspect. You got to try to find a way to not let him use his length on you. Because if you try to go up against him like body to body, it's a block every time for Bam. For Nikola Jokic. It's a block every time. So you're going to want to try to find unique and finesse ways to get Nikola Jokic off his feet or blow or try to give him get a quicker first step than him. So you're going to have to find ways to do it.
I also think that might be the problem, right? I don't think Jokic is going to be the one guarding him.
So who else Jokic will be guarding if it ain't Bam?
I think they're going to stick Gordon on Bam.
But the question is, now who does
Who else? Who
Jokic
else?
defends?
That's what I'm saying. Are you going to put Kevin Love out there? Who else? Who's going to play the four?
Well, as of right now, from what I saw in Game 7, the starting five was.
Or they're going to play zone. Or they're going to play zone defense like they did to the Lakers.
I mean, that could be true too. But I feel like with this team, since seeing Miami being lower, like being more size, being less size than what Denver has when it comes to length and height, I think Denver think they can play man. But if they play man, I think the finesse part of Miami, that's an advantage. Finesse part, as far as like with Jokic and Bam. I think everybody else outside of that is a matchup. It could be a matchup. You could, try to, put Michael Porter on Jimmy Butler or Aaron Gordon on Jimmy Butler. You could switch some things around. Probably put Jamal Murray on there too. You never know. You never know. What's going on? Run it back. What's going on? Everybody that's in the chat. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat here. But yeah, the matchups is going to be very, very favorable for both teams. We just got to see how these coaches dissect it.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, I just, for me, it's Gordon. Gordon can defend. Gordon can shoot the three. Gordon can, put the ball on the court and get to the cup. So can Porter. So can Murray. So can KCP. So can Bruce Brown. And we all know Jokic can.
Run it back.
That's six people that you have to stop. Strauss, you play good D on him. You stick KCP on Strauss. Strauss is going to have a bad series.
Yeah, you just going to have to find ways to get him open.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Again, you put Porter on Butler. Butler against a taller opponent that can play defense. That's definitely going to make it a lot harder on Jimmy. You know what I mean? Like, and bam, between Jokic and Gordon, I mean, it really doesn't matter. And then, like I said, it's all about who's going to play in that fourth role for Miami. Is Kevin Love going to be healthy? Are you bumping somebody else? Are are you bringing what was his name, Hightower?
Hightower is definitely a difference in Game 7, even though he didn't play a lot of minutes, but defensively he played really well.
Yeah, I mean, but that's what I'm saying. Is that going to be your go-to guy as like your number 4? Because if so, you know what I mean. Like it's Miami has more holes that I see. Miami has the worst part of the matchup in my opinion. Now, can Miami still win with good team ball and the way they can shoot the three certain nights? Absolutely. They can shoot them off the court if they want to, but so could the Nuggets. And the problem is the Nuggets take such good percentage shots in the first quarter. They don't just throw shit up. That's why they get a lead, and it's hard for them to lose that lead. It says, are you happy about the Sixers hiring Nick Nurse? Oh, yeah.
I am not a Sixers fan anymore. Just to put that disclaimer out there, I took my talents to Miami, but I am happy for the Sixers to get Nick Nurse. Oh man, they see most of this channel used to me being a Sixers fan, but Sixers is not on the topics today. We talked about them yesterday. Make sure you go check out yesterday's episode of the Darion Hopkins Show. You'll definitely hear how I felt about Nick Nurse. Just let you know that now. But yeah, but I agree with you, Mac, when it comes to the leverage. I think Denver has a more complete team than my Miami Heat. But it's going to be an interesting thing to watch. We're going to predict it more. More information is going to come out about the predictions. We definitely going to talk about that tomorrow's show on the Darion Hopkins Show. We definitely going to talk more about that. Another NBA topic. 2023 NBA free agents who could blow up on other teams. Interesting, because I read this on Bleacher Report, and it was talking about how NBA players of high likelihood making a leap often don't reach free agency when it comes down to it. Some circumstances is much harder for other teams to retain talent. We all know that, especially when it comes to the NBA. But they do have a few players, like any organization in a search of a free agent acquisitions, with major upside, should target guys of all whom could level up to a new team. So it's a few players that they have out here that's going to be free agents this summer and could pop on other teams. So I'm gonna start with the top 5 because they only got 5 players on here according to Bleach Report.
Okay.
It's saying quote of the Chicago Bulls. I feel as though that he failed to they according this is what Bleach Report is saying that he White's failure to meet expectations as the number 7 overall pick in 2019 due to some partly tough situations. He's a restricted free agent, found himself in a high usage ball role as a teenage rookie, and growing pains were particularly pronounced. So they saying that his career high is 57.2% in 2022-2023. He's only 22 or younger, and played at least 70 games while averaging 14 points, 4 assists, and 4 rebounds per 36 minutes at that level of scoring efficiency. So they're saying that he could probably go somewhere else and blow up, but weirdo because I mean, I'm not really a big fan of Kobe White. I'm not. I watched him at North Carolina. He was spectacular at North Carolina, but I don't see him going into free agency and going somewhere else and blowing up. If you do,
go to the Wizards.
Well, oh my God. And running back, you can't switch teams like that, especially the team that's in the finals. That's a bandwagon. You can say what you want, but I've been a Heat fan majority of the whole playoffs. After the Sixers got eliminated, I was done with them. I said I would never be a Sixers fan again. Never. And I took my ties to Miami. And you'll see me be a Miami Heat fan next season. It's not just this season. Like, you're like, I don't get y'all, man. That's why I can't switch teams. I can switch teams when I feel like it. Damn it. If LeBron can switch teams 3 times, if LeBron can switch teams 4 times when he want to, I can do it too. Damn it. Don't kill me with that. I'm just tired of being a second round team fan. I'm tired of losing in the second round for the last damn decade. I'm good. But how you feel about Kobe White being a free agent? Do you think he could go somewhere else and actually be better than where he was in Chicago?
I mean, yeah, because he's going to get a bigger role if he leaves there, and that's honestly what he needs. He needs, I mean, he needs a bigger slice of the pie. And do I think that's going to happen? Probably not. In Chicago, he's going to have to leave there, and that's kind of just where it's at. I mean, he can stay, but are they going to give him a bigger role? Are they going to give him more chances? I don't know.
Yeah, they got Austin Reeves on here.
Oh yeah, for sure. Austin Reeves on here. Austin Reeves set himself up for a payday. I'm just going to tell you that.
Yeah, absolutely.
The fact that he made so many clutch shots in just the playoffs. I'm not even going to talk about the year. I'm just talking about the playoffs. Like they're going to back the money truck up to him, bro. And he is. Whatever team he goes to, he's going to make better.
Do you think he should stay in LA though?
Would I like him to? Absolutely. But is that where he's going to get guaranteed the most money? Probably not.
I mean, if you look at all the free agents that's out there, I mean, they trying to get rid of. From what I've heard from rumors, D'Lo might be out the door again. Schroeder is a free agent in himself.
Yeah, I mean, but see, Schroeder you could bring back in like the same type of role. Reeves is not. Reeves is going to be the guaranteed starter. He's going to get guaranteed. Like there's going to be guarantees that come with him if he stays a Laker. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not really going to have to guarantee Schroeder much.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I mean, you still got a few players that's free agents on this roster. But I think Austin Reeves should stay with the Lakers. But if he did go somewhere and blow up, where would it be?
I mean,
Do you think he'll go to a championship contender? Do you think he'll go to an actual team that's a contender as well? That's kind of a little bit better than the Lakers, because I don't want to get Laker fans panties in a bunch. I'm sorry.
I mean, honestly, dude, there's so many places he could go, and he would just thrive just because of how he plays. You know what I mean? And that's the greatest thing. Like, thinking off of a team off my head, like I you know what? I'd like to see him with the Hornets down there with Melo. If Melo can come back and be healthy, imagine seeing them two shooters. Woo!
That'll be entertaining, but they won't win games.
Maybe.
They won't win. I don't, Darion. I can't respect the guy who switched teams. That's not loyal, ride or die. No matter what, give the Sixers the same energy you give the Raiders, because they haven't done anything. Also, listen, I'm a football fan first, basketball second. If you don't like the fact that I switch teams in the NBA, so be it. I don't care what you have to say. I don't care. Is heat culture? I don't care. You don't have respect for me? I don't care. I don't care. Because before I was a Raiders fan, I didn't have a favorite team. I didn't. Only reason why I was a 76ers fan because it was my hometown. That was the only reason. But I can switch teams if I feel like it. Well, I don't have no contract to tell me that I can't switch teams. I'm a fan at the end of the day. Ain't nobody making me no money. Like, I'm not making money to be a fan. Hello? Like, what? If the 76ers is going to pay me a contract to stay relevant to them, no. Miami ain't either. But I can't condone a bunch of quitters. I just can't. I can't condone a bunch of quitters. And the 76ers are a bunch of quitters right now. They are. They're a bunch of quitters. They frauds. Simple as that. But back to the topic at hand. Who else they have on this list? Bruce Brown is on this list for the Denver Nuggets. Man, he's only 26. Brown. Yeah, he's only 26. He's going to He's probably gonna make a decision to decline the $6.8 million player option that he has for 2023 and 2024. You
ready for this though?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Bruce Brown to the 76ers.
Okay.
That is a functional point guard who can also score. He can facilitate, and I would love to see him with Maxey and Embiid. The fact that honestly I think he would just it would be a slaughter fest. I think, but between them three alone, even if they say they don't get rid of Tobias Harris, at least now you have a functioning point guard that can push the pace and get the ball to whoever's open going down the court.
Depending on how much the Sixers is willing to pay him.
Again, like I said, I don't see him going back to the Nuggets for that same role.
If he could go somewhere else and be a starter like with the Philadelphia 76ers, then why not? You do need a ball. You need a ball handling guard. And I don't know if Bruce Brown is a good of a facilitator, but you can always develop into one.
From everything that I've seen over the last few years with him, there's nothing telling me that he isn't. And until you prove that you aren't something or you can't do something, I'm going to say you can. And he's shown me, he's had multiple games. And again, I'm just going to use the postseason where he's had 3, 4, 5 assists. So imagine putting him having the same amount of ball handling time as Murray. Again, that's what I'm saying. You put him in the right opportunity, he's gonna thrive.
Yeah, and I really hope that when it comes to Bruce Brown, there's a few places that he could go. But you know what though? I wouldn't be mad about that. But it's really going to come down to the situation with James Harden. And that's another reason why I'm no longer a 76ers fan, because James Harden has ruined this basketball squad. Just my personal opinion, but and I really hate the guts of James Harden. So I really hate the guts of him. But it's really going to come down if James Harden leaves the 76ers, because if Bruce Brown goes to the Philadelphia 76ers and James Harden is there, good luck to Bruce Brown. Because James Harden is a career killer. He really is.
Yeah. I mean, the whole simple fact is, it's just like, he's not going to want to run down the court on a regular basis. He's not like, he's going to stall your offense. He's going to give you no defense.
Exactly.
I mean, he's a locker room cancer. Let's just be honest here. For no reason. I'm just telling you, I'm picking Bruce Brown over him every day of the week. No question about it.
Yeah, when it comes to high energy and up-tempo guard, I'm definitely taking Bruce Brown over James Harden, where James Harden could not show up in the postseason, where Bruce Brown been showing up the whole postseason. Like, come on, man. Like these 76ers fans have to realize, like, James Harden is the reason why that Doc Rivers is out the door. And the reason why that this offense is stagnant. We had one to slow it. The Sixers had one of the slowest offenses in the NBA because of James Harden. He wants to slow it down because his fat ass don't want to run.
Yep.
But Sixers fans wants to be fans of that. Absolutely not. I'm no longer being a fan of that. I can't respect the game of basketball from James Harden for a guy that don't give you 110% when this city alone wants 110% from their players, no matter if any sports team in this city.
Yeah.
Come on, that's even with you, even with your everybody all the Baltimore teams. You want your players to give 110% and not lack at all. And that's what James Harden does with the Philadelphia 76ers. I can't be a fan of that. I can't condone that. I just can't.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm 100% with you, but I can say this as being a Baltimore fan, it has been extremely hard. Multiple chances where, with the Orioles and with the Ravens have been mediocre at best the last 10 years. Right. We've had flashes where we've made it to the playoffs, but what have we won? Nothing. Since Ray Lewis retired, our relevancy has been almost mute.
Facts. Agreed.
Lamar Jackson's the only reason why we're kind of relevant. And like I said, that's kind of. It still sucks.
It's the way you said it. It's kind of.
I mean, seriously, because if we signed Lamar Jackson to a long-term deal last season, we're not even talked about this offseason. The only reason we've been talked about is literally just because Lamar.
Right.
And it is, and it's part of Harbaugh's fault. That's why I said. I mean, me personally, I don't see us winning another Super Bowl with Harbaugh as our coach. He's just, for me, he's not an X's and O's guy. He doesn't make adjustments mid-game, and it's just like he fucks up. Harbaugh has lost us more games over the last 3 years than he's won us.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed. It just goes back
to go for a field goal, or when you make the decision to go for it on fourth and it backfires, and what does that lead to? That leads to, well, you should have took the field goal here, and here you should have went for it. You know what I mean? And yeah, you're going to get second guessed, but the whole thing is when the majority of the actual calls you make that we see on TV where you're calling the play, okay, no, you guys are doing this. You don't do it often, so when we see you do it and we see this is John Harbaugh's call and it flops, who else are we going to put that on?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like how many times have we been cooked by the Browns over a no-name quarterback and a no-name slot receiver? Why didn't y'all do your homework? You know this guy. Yep, he ain't got the long ball arm, but this guy's going to slice and dice your ass within 20 yards. So why not bring the protection up? These are in-game adjustments that you have to make when you start seeing this stuff.
And it just goes back to show you, the effort that you want from your teams. And I think it's just going back to what Bruce Brown, he gives you that effort on a basketball court. And that's what I would love for the 76ers to have, a dog that would give you effort. And James Harden is not a dog. Sorry, he's not.
No.
He's not going to give you effort. All he's going to do is put it between his legs, step back three. That is his MO. The NBA has caught on to James Harden's style of play. So if he don't want to evolve, get rid of him, bring in a guy like a Bruce Brown, and people fail to forget with the Miami Heat, they all undrafted free agents on this basketball team. Damn near. And they in the NBA Finals. But James Harden's supposed to be this so-called max contract type of guy, and Joel Embiid's supposed to be this MVP that everybody expected him to be in the playoffs. This roster is just going to have to change. And Bruce Brown could come in and definitely be a piece to help them get over that hump with high energy and up-tempo basketball.
Yeah.
Let's see who else is left on this list. You have Nickeil Alexander-Walker from the Minnesota Timberwolves. Pretty underrated player. But you think he could go somewhere and blow up on another team outside of being with the Minnesota Timberwolves?
Right. I mean, with the right team, again, and that's most of these guys. With the right team and put in the right positions, some of these guys absolutely can flourish. But do I think all of these guys are going to flourish? No. Because not everybody's going to get put in the right position. And like I said, and even still, the way a team thinks right now versus the way a team's going to think in 4 months, you know what I mean? Completely different. And that's why it's just like, yeah, you could be a major piece in what they're building right now in the end of May, June. But, I mean, what's going to make you a big piece come October?
And we could definitely see what could happen with him, because he's 24 years old. He's shooting 44% from the 3-point percentage at 30. Well, actually, no, from the field goal, 44% from the field and 38% from the three. So they said just ask Jamal Murray how much fun to be hounded by an unscreenable pest down the stretch. They got some film on him. So I mean, I never watched much of Nickeil Alexander-Walker. I saw some games that he definitely stepped up in the playoffs against the Lakers in the play-in game, but I don't think he's one of those guys that I can see that could definitely pop out and blow up on another team. Yeah, that's basically it. I thought it was 5, but no, it's actually 4. I'm sorry, it's actually 4. So
yeah, I mean, out of all those guys you named, I would definitely say Austin Reeves is probably going to have the biggest year out of all those guys.
I think it's Austin Reeves and Bruce Brown right behind him.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Bruce Brown is nipping at his heels, though. And like I said, it depends on where they go and what positions they're put in. Bruce Brown has the opportunity where he could honestly make a bigger impact than Reeves, but Reeves has the all-star. He could be an all-star. And that's where that temptation goes a little bit more for me. I'm going to lean towards Reeves.
Absolutely. I was going to get to some college football preview, but I really didn't read the whole article on it to talk more about it. I know they had some intriguing games coming up in September, because I know I'm a big Tennessee fan. Tennessee Volunteer fans, always been a Tennessee fan when it comes to basketball, softball. It was one of my favorite colleges to go to when I wanted to, play ball in high school. But my grades just not land me to Tennessee. My grades did not land me to Tennessee. So just educational wise, I didn't go. Because I was an okay ball player in high school. I was an okay ball player that I could have went and probably been a walk-on. Not no scholar, but a walk-on. But grades just didn't let me get in. But I cover, Tennessee's softball, baseball. anything Tennessee that I cover. I even cover some of the local colleges here, Temple, Drexel, University of Penn, those guys too, especially when it gets into like tourney time, like tournament time for stuff like that. But college football, we definitely want to get more into later on down the line, because before you know it, college football is going to be right around the corner back in July, August-ish, mainly August, where college football comes back into play. And we're going to talk more about it. And we're going to have some more guests on here as well, too. We definitely want to have, I'm looking for some guests to come on to the show and, talk about different aspects of it, see from different views. I don't know what happened to my other two co-hosts. We're going to talk about them in a little bit. But hey, it is what it is. But another episode in the books, ladies and gentlemen, another episode in the books. We all got lives and stuff to do of that nature. But I'm gonna throw this out there for y'all because it's about to be a grind for the month of June. And let me see how many days is in the month of June. Let me just remember this real quick. Let me make sure. Okay, it's 30 days in June. I'm about to be on a grind this month. I'm doing 30 videos in 30 days in the month of June for the football channel and for this channel. No matter if it comes off a live podcast or anything of that nature, but I will be putting out 30 videos in 30 days. And that's going to be a 30-day challenge for me to get the relevancy back onto my football channel, because I know football has been dead majority of the summer because OTAs is coming up and all that. But I really don't start looking at football until training camp. I just don't, or the second wave of the free agency, which is coming up soon. So I will be doing that 30 videos in 30 days. Mac, if you have a video that you want me to throw up on here, you let me know. I'll post it up here or whatever.
For sure.
Just let me know, and I'll let the people in the chat know too. We could post videos to help out with the 30 videos in 30 days. Even on top of the live streams that I'm going to be doing. So it's going to be a lot of grind for the month of June. You're going to see me a lot, and I'm going to get on y'all nerves. I do not care. I'm going to get on y'all nerves. I really am. So I'm like, oh my God, Darion put up another video. Yes, I did. I put up another video. So what? And what?
Hell yeah.
But any final word before we head out of here, man? NBA Finals is coming up tomorrow.
So I'm just gonna tell. I placed my bet for the Nuggets to sweep.
Oh, what? Wait, you put a bet in for the Nuggets to sweep?
Yeah, I put a bet in for the Nuggets to sweep.
How? Okay,
how
much?
So I bet $5 to win $45.
Okay, you did it smart. You didn't go out. You didn't go off the grid with it. Okay, cool.
Oh no, come on, man. But the whole thing is like, I meant to do that against the Lakers because I remember me and Ed got in a heated debate, and he was talking about how the matchups were better for the Lakers, and I was like, no. You know what? There ain't no way. And I said it. I was like, you know what? I'm telling you, the Nuggets are either going to sweep or only lose one game against the Lakers. I said it. I was like, matter of fact, I'm gonna make that bet. I'm gonna put that bet down, and I didn't. I got sidetracked and I never placed that bet. But this time I placed the bet. I was like, I'm not going to be lacking this time. If it happens, I want to hit for it.
Absolutely, man. But this episode of the Darion Hopkins Show is absolutely in the books here, ladies and gentlemen. I got to get some things prepared for the 30-day challenge for starting tomorrow for the 30 videos in 30 days. It could be a short, it could be a regular video. It doesn't matter. But I think I'm actually going to do videos instead of shorts. For that, we have a lot of stuff coming up soon. And me and Matt going to talk behind the scenes about other stuff to come to the Darion Hopkins. So what else can we bring to the table for y'all? We'd love to hear from y'all as well. We have it on the audio podcast. If you want to leave us a view, leave us a rating. Let us know what you think about the podcast. Same thing on in the comments as well. After the video is done being live, it does get uploaded. So if you do want to have your thoughts on it, put it in the comments below. We'll love to hear what the fans have to say about the show, because the fans make the show, basically. The fans make the show. So,
for sure.
So we would love to hear what y'all have to say, because we love to hear what the fans want the voices to be heard. Think about a call-in show as well. Have the fans call in as well, see what they have to say, or have a hotline. have a hotline and have them ask us questions and stuff. So it's a lot of ideas that I've been thinking about lately, but I'm definitely going to talk about it on the back end. But outside of you saying that the Nuggets would sweep the Heat in a bet, anything else you got to say out there to the people?
Oh no, I mean, shoot, we gonna have some bets set up for you guys tomorrow, and we gonna get it cooking, man. I'm excited for it.
Absolutely, absolutely. But thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of the Darion Hopkins Show. Don't forget to go to SeatGeek.com and use that promo code DHopkins to get $20 off your first purchase for live events, sport events, and concerts of that nature. And make sure y'all go to Bet Us. The link is in the description to get the special offer over on Bet Us, man. Thank y'all so much for being here. Make sure y'all comment, like, and subscribe to this channel, which is the Darion Hopkins Show. Follow me on Facebook, Darion Hopkins Show, Twitter, Darion D Hopkins Show, Instagram, D Hopkins Show. I'll be all over the place. The D Hop Nation t-shirts are coming real soon. Wait for the logo to come back. D Hop Nation t-shirts are coming soon. If your wife want to make you a logo, I will throw that on the website as well. Just let me know. I'll definitely do that. Chris Leclerc said Miami Heat in 5. I'm definitely not doing that. I'm not that bold at all. Heat in 6. Heat in 6, I would say, but hell no. Heat in 5, I'm not that crazy. I'm more realistic. Yeah. I'm going Heat in 6.
I mean, let's be honest here. If we look at the Nuggets all season and even in the playoffs, the Nuggets have not lost more than 2 games in a row.
Exactly. Exactly. That's why I'm not putting it as Heat in 5.
Like Heat in 6, Heat in 7, absolute possibility. Heat in 4 or 5. Yeah, no. It doesn't sound realistic.
No, not at all. It just doesn't sound realistic at all.
It sounds like Jokic, Murray, Porter, and Gordon all got hurt for some fucking reason.
They just sold out just to be like, oh fuck it, I'm just gonna shoot up a bunch of bricks. Like
yeah, and even Jokic, when Jokic throws up a brick, like a prayer shot, it still goes in.
It still goes in, right? It still goes in. It definitely still goes in, man. But we're going to talk more about the NBA Finals. The preview is definitely tomorrow. Hopefully, all the guys will be here for that. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to another episode of Darion Hopkins Show. We are out of here, and we'll see y'all same time, same place, right here, y'all. We out. Peace out.